Whether you call yourself a Christian or not, you can't just ignore what just happened. A man was killed for speaking the truth in a culture built on lies. Charlie Kirk wasn't afraid to confront evil. He wasn't afraid to stand on the gospel of Christ. And he wasn't afraid to challenge the corruption that is completely rotting our society from within. And for that boldness, he paid for it with his life. This moment should wake us all up. To Christians, it was a warning. To non-Christians, it was a reality check. The world is hostile to truth, and it's hostile to righteousness, and it's hostile to really anyone who desires to stand up against the dark side of this world. This isn't just about politics. This is not just religion. This is the battle of good versus evil playing out right before our eyes. And Charlie Kirk was more than just a political voice. He was unashamed of the gospel of Christ. He spoke into a culture that despises the truth, and he knew the risks. He knew the cost, and yet he still stood there, and he stood there like the apostles before him who were proclaiming the message of Christ. But here's the reality of all this. We're living in a nation drowning in lies and in immorality and in evil. People chase after money, they chase after status and pleasure while mocking the righteousness of God. Oh, and in the meantime, the Christians sit silently on the sidelines, content to play church while the world burns. Revelation warns us that God will spit out the lukewarm. Yet many people have grown scared, and yet too many have chosen silence. Why? Because of fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of being canceled, fear of being persecuted. But hear me. Our fear is nothing compared to the eternal cost of silence. Truth ignored is truth rejected, and rejection of truth leads only to destruction, toward judgment. Every disciple of Christ, except for John, was murdered for their faith. They didn't hide, they didn't compromise, they didn't water it down, and they proclaimed it boldly, no matter the cost. And Charlie Kirk stood in that same exact boldness that he was hated for, and now he's gone. So I'm asking you, what are you doing? Why stay silent while evil continues to advance in our society? Will you live in comfort while men and women die proclaiming for the truth? Will you keep bowing to fear? Or are you going to stand like Charlie did? Scripture commands us in Ephesians 6 to put on the full armor of God, to stand firm, to fight, and to resist the enemy. This is not a time for passive Christianity. This is not a time for compromise. This is the time to choose sides, to choose which side you're actually on. If your fear of persecution or death keeps you silent, then you need to ask yourself if you're actually of the faith, the same faith that Charlie Kirk died proclaiming. Jesus himself said that whoever denies me before men, I will deny before my Father in heaven. And Charlie Kirk did not deny him. He lived unashamed and he died unashamed. And now the torch is in our hands. The battle is here right now. The time for silence is over. We need to stand up in our schools, stand up in our churches, stand up in our families, and in our communities. We need to speak truth, be bold, and stop playing games with eternity. We need to stop living casual, powerless faith. Charlie's life and death mark a turning point. The torch has been passed to us. The only question is will you pick it up? Will you speak boldly? Will you live unashamed? Or will you keep on bowing to fear when the world sinks deeper and deeper into darkness? Choose this day who you're going to serve. Christ or compromise. Truth or deception. Life or death. The battle line is drawn. The time for silence is over. This is our turning point.